Hey y'all, welcome back to Flat Tire Farm. Today I'm going to show you how I safely fell or cut down a tree. Stay tuned. Okay, now if y'all have watched our channel before, you know that we're a 40-acre off-grid homestead in beautiful Willow, Alaska. And we have a whole ton of beetle-killed spruce trees that are on our property. I'm going to bring you with me and I'm going to show you how I make sure that I stay safe while I'm cutting down these trees to use for both sawmill logs and firewood. Okay, so this big, beautiful dead spruce tree is going to be the tree that we're going to bring down. It'll be a little bit tricky because right where it needs to come down, I have to shoot the gap between a couple of trees to make sure that I can bring it down safely. And that brings me to rule number one when you're felling trees. Now, the number one rule in staying safe while felling trees is to not try to fell a tree that is beyond your capability. Now, growing up, I was taught by my dad how to fell a tree, and through reading and watching videos, I've added to that knowledge as I've gone along. However, if a tree is leaning hard in the wrong direction, I won't take it down without help or without calling a professional. Also, I will not take down a tree that is very close to power lines, vehicles, buildings, without either getting help or calling a professional. The best way to sum it up is, when in doubt, farm it out. Have somebody else do it. Now, your next step before you bring the tree down is you want to clear the area around the base of the tree and establish an exit route. Now, we're here at the base of the tree that I want to cut. I want to take all of these branches down on both sides of that tree off. Because it's winter, I'm going to use my snowshoes and I'm going to stamp a trail all the way around. And then I'm going to make a trail away from the base of the tree that is 90 degrees or perpendicular away from the direction that I'm going to fell the tree. Okay, as you can see, I've got all the branches cut off at the base of the tree. I've taken them out of my trail and then walked around on my trail a couple times around the trunk of the tree to make sure that it's nice and flat and that I can move around freely without tripping. Now, I'm going to fell this tree virtually right towards the camera. So if I go perpendicular to that, I want my trail away from the tree to be going off this way to my right. So let's do that. Got a pretty good trail established, but I got one little stick here that could possibly catch on my snowshoes and trip me. So we're going to cut that off now. Now I'll bring you in close and I'll show you how I'm going to make my cuts on the tree to bring it down in the direction that I want. So I'm here at the base of the tree. I am kneeling on the side that I wanted to bring the tree down. So this is what I'm going to call the face or the front, and this will be the back. Okay, so my first step is going to be to cut. My first cut will be a horizontal cut facing in the direction where I want the tree to go. Now, virtually all chainsaws nowadays will have a mark that is perpendicular to the bar. That's what this mark is here. That is to help you aim your chainsaw so that you can bring the tree down exactly where you want it. So I'm going to use that line on my saw, point it directly where I want the tree to come down, and make a horizontal cut on the face of the tree. Then I will make an angled cut that will come down at an angle to the back of that first cut. Now that first cut is going to go a third of the way into my tree. So if I take the diameter of my tree I'm going to go 1/3 of the way in with my first cut, and my second cut is going to come down and meet it. Then I'll go to the back of the tree, come slightly above my first cut, and cut into the tree about half of the way. Now, you might notice that 1/3 and a half is not all the way through. That's because I want to leave what's called a hinge right in the middle of the tree that will help to control both the speed that the tree comes down and the direction that it falls in. Now I'll get started making my cuts, and I'll bring the camera down so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So I've made my first cut here. My saw is against the back of the cut, and if you look close, this is where the line is, and that is pointed directly where I want the tree to fall. Now we'll make our second cut, which will come down and meet this one. So now we have a notch on the face of the tree. This is pointed directly where I want the tree to fall, and it's about 1/3 of the way into the tree. Now we'll do the third cut, which is called the back cut. Now my third cut is going to be, again, right in the direction where I want to fall the tree. It's going to be behind or on the back side of the tree, just above the first cut that I made. So there you have it. I've got my back cut slightly above my first cut. And this piece right here, see if I can show you a little bit closer. This piece right here is not cut through. That is going to be my hinge. Now, you may notice the tree is still standing. That is okay. Here's another safety tip. Don't keep going. You'll be tempted, once you reach that halfway mark, if the tree doesn't go, to keep going. In order to control the tree, we don't want to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to use felling wedges. They're wedges that you can buy any big box store, wherever you buy your chainsaw, that will drive into that back cut to help push the tree over gently. Now, these are my felling wedges. As you can see, they are quite well used. They've been smacked around, even hit a time or two with the chainsaw, but that's some different techniques that we're not going to talk about today, actually cutting while the wedges are in the tree. That's also why I don't use metal wedges. So rather than put one directly in the back, I'm going to offset them and put two in there. I'll get them started. Now I'll move the camera so that you all have a better shot of the tree coming down. Okay, I got the camera set up in a little bit better spot. I have moved my chainsaw so that it is not in the way of my planned exit, or the camera for that matter. Now I'm going to drive those wedges in, and they are going to push the tree past its center of gravity, and it'll come down, hopefully in exactly the direction that I want. Whew, got a bit of snow coming out of this one. Goes. Perfect shot. Okay, like I had said, I needed to shoot in between these two trees. It's basically dead center in between there. I was well out of the way by the time the tree went over, and you can see it didn't smash onto the ground. It started out pretty slow, and that's because it was controlled by the hinge at the base of the tree. Okay, y'all, I'm now going to take this tree and I'm going to cut a couple of firewood rounds out of the bottom of it. I'll limb it and cut a 16-foot long saw log that'll go on the sawmill later. And then the whole top of that tree is going to get cut up into firewood. But seeing as how I'm losing daylight, I better get after it. Thank you all for joining us here on Flat Tire Farm. If you learned anything or just thought this was entertaining, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions about felling a tree or you need just a little bit of advice, keep in mind I'm not a professional, but I'll help you out any way I can. Just hit me up in the comments below. See y'all next time.